Hello, it's your boy Davidoff and welcome back to Movie Monday. Last week I did my favourite racing movies. This week it's my top 3 war movies. All of them in 4K this time. I have got Saving Private Ryan, which is my favourite war movie, and honestly I'd put this in my top 10 list of all time, like movies in general. I think this movie is that good, it's incredible. Then you got Dunkirk, Christopher Nolan having a go at war movie, and I think he smashed it. I think it was really good. Very intense, and yeah, it was crazy to watch this in IMAX, so I look forward to rewatching this. And 1917. This is a spectacular limited edition HMV first edition. It's packaged so well, man. It's like you get this little book to start with and then the 2 discs. It's not like, it doesn't seem like it's going to last very long, which is kind of weird because it keeps creaking when I open it. But still, beautiful packaging. HMV first edition. This is something that's only available when they first released the 4K Blu-ray, and like it's a limited edition from HMV, and once it's gone, it's gone. It's done. It's sold. And I managed to get my pre-order copy when it first came out, and yeah, I actually haven't seen the 4K version of this, or this, or this. I've seen them all multiple times, but not in 4K yet. So apparently they all have good 4K as well. I'm going to watch these 2 first because I fancy 2 movies today. This one is 1 hour 46 minutes. That's 2 hours long. This one is 2 hours 48. So I'll save that for another day. But these 2 I can watch right now, starting with Dunkirk. So when it comes to movies like this, especially movies about World War I and II, I'm really into those types of movies. Like, I'm not a fan of war, but it's also important to remember stuff like the world wars especially. So war movies based on those wars, I'm always interested in, and I'm always like really into. So usually on the series, I get the camera out to talk about the movie I'm watching as I watch it. But I don't know how often I'll be doing that with these movies because they're just so gripping. You know, eyes glued to the screen, edge of your seat. I don't know how many times I'm going to think to pick my camera up to talk. But at the very least, you'll get a mini review at the end of each movie. But yeah, I will comment on the 4K as well, that's for sure. Oh yes, this one has IMAX scenes in it. I love it. There are some 4K Blu-rays that include IMAX scenes, and basically it's full screen instead of like black bars top and bottom. It's insane when they do scenes like that. They had these IMAX scenes on the Dark Knight trilogy, the 2nd and 3rd one, Dark Knight Rises. They looked incredible, those sequences in those movies. And this is Nolan as well. This is Nolan. So I'm not surprised. Same director, has IMAX scenes on the 4K Blu-ray. I appreciate that, Mr. Nolan. This is why you're my favourite director. Actually, no. You're my favourite director because you make great movies. But also, you know, you make movies for cinema. You know, you make movies of high quality, IMAX quality. And I appreciate the fact that we got these IMAX scenes on discs as well, not just at the cinema. It's a great thing. I think the entire movie's full screen, you know? Because in like Dark Knight, it would switch between full screen and not full screen. I think this entire 4K Blu-ray is just all full screen IMAX. If it is, I'm here for it. I'm glad they actually did that. Because like, there's other movies like Avengers, Infinity War and Endgame where they shot the whole movie in IMAX and the 4K Blu-ray is not in IMAX. Just saying, just saying. Also, like, how hard was it? How hard is it even now to be a fighter pilot? Like, I don't know, I don't understand how they hit their targets without a lock-on. With a lock-on, yeah, okay. But you're flying a plane and also shooting at the same time. How did pilots do it back then? I don't know. All you're looking at is a circle in front of you. You got to line up the dot with the other plane. It must have been it must have been so hard to be a fighter pilot back then, man. So some 4K Blu-rays have issues where there's a specific part of the movie where it always crashes, like it just stops working, and you got to like either fast forward or eject the disc and reinsert it, and then also skip a little bit and it'll be fine. Happened again. Usually happens towards the end of the movie. This time happened like 25 minutes in. Very annoying. It's one of the most intense scenes as well that happened. It's not all full screen, by the way. Most of it is, but there are some that's not full screen. But yeah, this movie is just crazy, man. And it obviously based on an actual real life evacuation, which was vital to the war. And it's amazing how so many civilian boats helped as well. It's crazy. A lot of people still lost their lives, but so many were saved, and those civilian boats played a big part. And you get to see this evacuation from three different perspectives. You see the guys on the beach trying to get out. You see one of the civilian boats, like obviously there's one civilian boat specifically that it focuses on and them saving some soldiers. And also the RAF pilot, Tom Hardy, who is obviously fighting the German planes who are trying to bomb the ships. It's crazy that these things actually happened. I don't think this movie is like 100% accurate, but obviously based on real events. It's just insane, man. So many heroes. So many heroes. And this is early into the war. This is before the US even joined in. So yeah, you know, just an amazing movie. It's just incredible. And there's so much of the world wars that we don't know about. Like there's so many battles that there hasn't been, you know, the story hasn't been told. So, you know, it's crazy how many stories you can tell. But yeah, just there's so many heroes from back then, and they deserve to be remembered. And I think movies are a good way of remembering stuff like this. It helps you remember. It's a good way of helping people remember, making people realize how it was back then. So yeah, it's great. And the 4K is incredible, by the way. Like Nolan knows how to do high quality, and his 4K releases, the ones that I've watched so far, they're great. I've got Interstellar and Inception that I bought recently. I've got to watch those soon. If after watching Dark Knight Trilogy and this in 4K, yeah. If you want good 4K movies, look at Nolan's movies. I'm pretty sure there's a box set as well. There's like a 4K collection of Nolan. Get that. If you're looking for 4K movies, just get Nolan's one. So many depressing scenes as well, man. There's more like, you know, scenes of like relief at the end because they saved so many people, so much more than they expected to save. But at the start there's so much misery, especially the hospital ship scene. Ironically, that's also the scene where my disc crashed, so that's a bit, it's not the scene where you want your movie to stop on. And also the scene at the end where Tom Hardy saved them from the other plane, that was good. Also, Dunkirk sounds so good. Like, so good. The music obviously is Hans Zimmer, so it would be great. Nolan and Zimmer is a crazy combination, almost overpowered. In fact, definitely overpowered, but not just the score and the soundtrack, but also just the sound in general. It sounds so good. It sounds so good, and it looks amazing, you know? If you want to show off your 4K TV, get Dunkirk. Alright, it is time for 1917. This one's a crazy one because it was basically filmed as if it was one shot, just one way through. The whole 2 hours is like filming a movie in one take, basically. Well, I'm not sure, I don't think that's how they filmed it, but it's filmed as if it was like that. There was one time when he gets knocked out though, and then I think technically it's 2 shots, if I'm going to be that guy. But it's a crazy story about a guy just trying to deliver a message to the front line to not advance on their assaults just yet, or they'll lose a lot of men. It's intense. And he's also got to send a message to someone else as well, I'm pretty sure. And there's a few cameos, a few big cameos. He's looking for a guy, and he keeps finding people with the same name, but it's not them. I think it's something like that anyway. But yeah, each person he finds is not the right guy. It's a big cameo. And yeah, the cameos in this are big names as well. They're in it for like a minute each. Sorry, what language is that? Just curious. Castellano? What? Also, why does he look like Michael Fassbender, even though he's not Michael Fassbender? Oh yeah, he wanted to go and see his brother, and then he died, so his friend had to go and find him. That's why he struggled to find him, because he didn't know his brother. Now I've joined all the dots up. Now I remember everything from 1917. This movie's visuals are good. I knew this when I watched the movie in the first place, but on the 4K disc, it looks clean, quality's high. It's good. It's good. It's damn good. What a movie. What a movie. It's incredible. One more to watch, but not enough time tonight. But I'll be sure to watch the third, of course, very soon. And obviously you've seen this video all in one, so you'll be a few seconds. For me, it might be a couple days. Alright, it's time for Saving Private Ryan. The scene on the beach at the start is just crazy, you know? Crazy in many ways. I'm starting to wonder how it's going to sound and look in 4K. Okay. I have seen this D-Day scene so many times in my life. It's even more brutal and mental in 4K. Picture quality is upped, and the sound as well. It sounded crazy in my ears, it did. Well, I mean, just at the start, this is one of the craziest war movie scenes ever filmed, like, crazy. And this movie, like, as I said at the start of the video, one of my favourite movies of all time. I'd put it in my top 10, and easily the best war movie for me. It's just incredible, and I feel this opening D-Day scene really, like, sets the tone for the rest of the movie. I love it. I genuinely... I don't remember that much of the future scenes, you know, the scenes with, like, old Riot as well. I don't remember that as much, so it's a good refresh. I also forgot that Vin Diesel was in this. It's kind of random. He fits in fine. It's just that it always feels weird not seeing him as the main guy. Obviously, back then, you know, not as big a star as he is now. But yeah, it's interesting that. But yeah, of course, Tom Hanks leading as always. He's one of the best actors ever. And of course, eventually, we meet Matt Damon. In quite a few movies where we save Matt Damon, right? Private Ryan, The Martian, Interstellar. Why are we always finding a lost Matt Damon? Hollywood seems obsessed with that concept. The movie seems to be full screen as well, which is elite. I always love that aspect ratio. No black bars, just a full screen. Not every 4K Blu-ray gets that, unfortunately, but the ones that do always look good. You know, the one scene that always stands out to me for some reason, probably because it was the first impression I got of this movie. I was like a kid. I tuned into a random TV channel that was showing the movie, and it was literally on this scene. And ever since I've rewatched this movie, I've always thought back to this scene. It's the scene in the house where, obviously, it's the bridge battle at the end, and it's the scene in the house where the American soldier gets killed, gets stabbed through the heart by a German soldier, and the translator's outside crying because he's scared to fight, scared to get in the fight, and while he's sitting on the stairs crying, his American friend is getting stabbed to death. For some reason, that scene always sticks out to me, and it's probably because it was my first impression of the movie. But yeah, that scene, it just stuck. It apart from D-Day, like, that scene is always, like, properly stuck in my head when you mention this movie to me. Whenever this movie is mentioned anywhere, I always think of this specific scene where the soldier gets stabbed and then the translator's just outside listening to it. Very crazy scene. Also, this whole final battle is just mad, and the 4K quality is crazy. I had another problem with my 4K Blu-ray. It did stop at one point before the bridge battle. Yeah, you got to eject it and reinsert it, and it's usually fine. Well, usually you gotta, like, it lets you, like, resume where you left off, but in this one it just went from the start again. I just, like, skip through again. It's weird. It's weird. But I think it's definitely a Blu-ray player problem. Apparently 4K Blu-ray players are infamous for these sort of things. So I don't know what I'm gonna do about that, because it's not just one disc. It's not all discs, but some discs have this issue. It's very annoying. 4K Blu-ray just randomly stop. And I've googled it, and other people have the same problem. So yeah, it is. In short, it's just that I use it to watch a lot of movies, so I don't know, but regardless, I'm enjoying the movie. I'm enjoying the movie. It's brutal, and the 4K quality is just crazy. Like, this, like, there's a lot of good war movies out there. But this one was quite something. This one was the GOAT in terms of the category for me. And it's over. What a movie. What a movie. These aren't the only war movies that I like. There's also Fury. There's a couple others as well, but Fury's one. Fury's not part of my favourites, but I do like that one. I kind of want to watch that now for some reason, because I thought of Fury from one of the scenes from this for some reason. I need to watch Hacksaw Ridge as well. I haven't seen that one. yeah, future episodes, possibly future episodes. Eventually, Movie Monday will be like one movie a week, probably from next year. So I'm interested to see what. Well, I'm looking forward to. Well, I'm still thinking of what I'm gonna do. What I'm gonna do exactly. What type of movies? How I'm gonna do it. Yeah, but this year there's gonna be a lot of like multiple movie episodes. You know, just in general, just episodes watching multiple movies. I want to get those like out the way, and then eventually I can focus on one movie per episode. So yeah, I've lost my words there towards the end, but that is it. Last minute, this last movie. Literally, it's Monday, and I need to get this up in a few hours. This is your boy Davidoff. Please like, share, subscribe. Thanks for watching. Have a good day, and see ya.